Jet Rose for the Times-Picayune and NOLA.com at Santa Monica High School again with Gremillion, who was our All-Baton Rouge area softball player of the year for the large schools last year, preseason player of the year this year. You've been on all of our volleyball, softball, basketball stuff through the years, and this is the last one, our All-Baton Rouge area large school softball player of the year, finishing up your career at Santa Monica. How weird is that to think about?
It feels really weird because for the last 4 years I've done nothing but all three sports, even during the summer, and now it just came to a complete stop and I'm doing nothing now.
What have you been up to since softball season? And obviously, this past weekend you were
All-Star game. Well, I've been practicing because I wanted for the All-Star game, but other than that, I've been resting and just being normal and going having fun like I haven't been able to do all 4 years.
I guess you gotta get it in now because you'll be heading to Lafayette relatively soon and focusing a whole lot of time on just softball out there. But looking at this senior year, as I said, you're our All-Baton Rouge area large school softball player of the year. What are you gonna remember most about the last softball season that you had over here?
Just about how our team was and how we were all so young, but we really came together and we were really close and we played really good throughout the entire season. I mean, we didn't lose a game, and just we had all the timely hitting, and just everybody on the whole team made it a really great experience.
And you were confident, even with all those seniors from a year ago that graduated and all the new faces that were coming in, y'all really, everybody seemed pretty confident. Once y'all got going, were there any early times where you were thinking, oh no, like these young girls might take a little bit longer to get into it than we expected, or was it, I mean, right off the bat, y'all were smooth sailing?
Well, initially, I really thought it was going to take a long time for them to get kind of in the flow of things, but once we started playing, I felt pretty confident. I felt like we were pretty caught up, and they did their jobs.
What was it like for you in that role? We talked about the expectations of it and what it was like leading into the season as the senior after being the grade behind that big group that graduated. What was it like for you to be, the senior that had been playing for all those years? Because you weren't the only senior, but you were certainly the most experienced.
Yeah, well, it was very, very nerve-wracking because they all expected me to do good and show them how to do things, and it was really different. I don't know, because you kind of had to be the bad guy now and telling them what to do instead of just being one of the ones being told what to do.
I know you don't like to talk very much for interviews and stuff like this. What was it like? Was that kind of a weird dynamic of having to take some charge at times, or in that setting, is that a lot easier and more comfortable of a deal for you to deal with them, whether as a group or individually?
It's a little bit easier, but I still don't like it. I still don't like having to talk to people and just fuss at them or have to tell them what to do if they're not doing it right and stuff like that. I don't know. It was different, but I liked it.
As much success as you've had every year, every, preseason we talk, and then when we talk a little bit about the future at the end of each season, you always have certain things that you're hoping to improve on or accomplish individually in terms of just progressing your own game. How did you feel about the way some of that went in your last high school season? Did you do what you felt like you needed to do within the framework of the team, I guess?
Yeah, one of my goals was to always have a better hitting year, a better batting average, and each year it increased. So I was happy about that. And I became more vocal each year. My freshman year, I wouldn't say a word. I would just sit there mute the whole time. But this year, I felt like I did a lot better at that, and that's what I was most happy about.
And we talked at the beginning of this year about where you were starting to kind of stack up historically at Santa Monica. Coach said you were already certainly one of the top 5 players to have come through here and would have a great chance at finishing the top 3. Have y'all talked at all about that, and do you have any sense of kind of the mark you're leaving behind for some of these younger girls?
Yeah, he told me, he told me I was one of the best players to ever come through here, and I don't know, that I was one of the good players, I guess. I don't know really how to put myself in that kind of spotlight. I don't know.
I was about to say, is that weird to hear?
Yeah, I don't like talking about myself like that. Yeah.
At a place like this, that's had so much success. What is your reaction to hearing somebody that's obviously well aware of the history here tell you something like that?
It's really honoring because this has been one of the top softball programs for like 10 years now. I mean, every year we're making it to the state tournament. So I don't know, it feels really great to be one of those great players that came here.
What do you hope to have left as a mark? Not necessarily as, I was, one of the top whatever players here, but when you talk to some of the younger girls that, there's a ton of them that'll be back next year, and try and give them advice moving forward, or whether, like, what example you set for them while you were still here, what do you hope that those girls kind of most remember, or what do you hope to kind of impart upon them as you leave?
I guess I just want them to remember, like, I always gave 100% at practice, and I always worked hard, and I always helped them, and just always encouraging them, stuff like that would be nice.
Are there any specific moments that stand out from this year that are just kind of epitomize the year that y'all had, or a point where you mentioned you were pretty impressed pretty quickly as to how things were going, but where you knew that it was going to be a good year, whether for you, for the team, or whatever, just kind of stand out games, moments, practices, talks?
Probably the moment I knew we were going to be good is when we beat Mount Carmel, because they were one of the best teams, and our pitching did really good that game, and our hitting came through, and our defense was lights out. And I guess that was just that game that I knew, like, it was like our 5th game because every game got rained out.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I knew that we were going to be good.
Once you saw what they were able to do, how much easier did that make things for you to kind of relax?
It felt like a lot of pressure just lifted off me, meaning that I knew I didn't have to do everything, and that I had people on the team that I could count on to hit and be able to.
And as I said, you always have something that you're kind of looking forward to as the next step, going into the summer and then ultimately a college softball career. What are some of the things you have in mind once you're not enjoying the free time as much and it's back to softball that you're hoping are the next kind of steps or things that you're going to focus on?
I'm just going to focus on getting better and learning that new hitting technique to go to UL, and I'm just going to work hard and let the cards fall from there.
There you go. Cara Gremillion, our All-Baton Rouge area large school softball player of the year again, for NOLA.com and Times-Picayune, Jarrett Roser.